Hi, I'm Mark, and I'm glad you're here at _Freedom for Life _. And guess what? We have a conversation today that you're going to want to hear because today you're going to learn how you can have the dream life that you've always wanted. Let's get started, shall we? And as we're getting started, do me a favor, two things. First is subscribe, become part of the Freedom family. We want you to be a part of what we're doing. And the second is hit that notification bell so that you can be a part of every conversation when we're having those conversations. Today's conversation, as we had already said, is this: how to have the life that you've dreamed of. I know if you're on this channel or you're listening to anything I'm doing, you're reading my book, taking my course, whatever it is, anything I'm a part of is always about two things: understanding who you're created to be so you can have the life that you're created for. What I consider your dream life, right? It's the one that God has just made you, developed you, grown you so that you can be a part of it. It's that thing, that passion on the inside where you're like, man, if only I could. Whether it's a career or it's a vocation or it's an artistic endeavor, whatever it is, it's a relationship. I mean, there are things that you have on the inside of you that really trigger you in a way that bring joy. And so it's that kind of a dream life that I'm talking about. But how can I have that kind of life, right? How can I have a blueprint, a roadmap, step by step to get there? Well, I'll give you 3 ways that you can do that, really 3 steps that you can take to make it happen. But the first is to give you kind of a synopsis of everything I'm going to say, which is this: don't give up. See, the interesting thing about a dream life is it is a dream life, but it actually takes work. And a lot of times when it gets hard, when it gets tough, when we've fallen down a few times, when we've made a few mistakes, when we've had a few failures, it's sometimes easy to give up. I know in my own life, it's at those times where things aren't working right and maybe somebody's telling you, hey, you can't do that, or whatever the voices are that are in your head. All of a sudden you start to negotiate with yourself and wonder, well, is this just me kind of making stuff up, or is this really something God has for me? I just need to tell you, don't give up. Everything I'm going to tell you is wrapped around this one thing. God has a plan for your life. He has purposes and designs and desires for you. And that feeling on the inside, continue to stoke that flame, because that's exactly what God's placed on the inside of you for you to do. So at the end of the day, don't give up. But there's 3 things I need you to learn. The first one is this: perspective is everything. What we call failures, God calls learning. What we expect, or at least myself sometimes, you expect, if it's made for me, if it's what God designed and desired for me, then success will come easy. Right? It'll happen. I'll just fall out of bed and be successful. I'll fall out of bed and have a lot of money, or have a vacation, or the vocation of my life, or the thing that I'm trying to create, that business, that invention, that whatever. All of a sudden, it's going to just fall into my lap because it's something that God wants for me. No, even in the place of where God has designs for you, there's work that's needed. And so what happens is, maybe not you, but sometimes myself, I'll look at my successes and failures, and in the inside you'll say, well, maybe it wasn't God because it didn't come easy. Maybe it wasn't God because I didn't know everything at once. But here's the truth. How you know you're walking in your freedom journey is when your failures and your successes don't define you, but your identity does. So in this place, you're either succeeding or you're learning. Here's the truth, and it's kind of a hard one, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. At the end of the day, what happens in our journey towards the dream life that we desire is there's going to be some failures that happen. Failure isn't the lack of a dream or a mistake on your part, but it's just something that you need to learn from. Failure is the training ground for the success that God has for you. You just don't know it yet. It's when you walk through those things, you get up, you make yourself better, you learn from it, and you move on, that you're preparing for the success that you've had. So the first is this: continue to understand this perspective. You're either succeeding or you're learning. So keep moving forward with it. The second is this: I said it at the beginning and I'll say it now. It's all about identity. When I understand who I'm created to be, I start to believe that I can have more than where I'm at. And in that place, I start to understand that, hey, I'm not wrong. If I hold on to who He created me to be, then I know that I'm going to get to the things that He created me for down the road. But apart from identity, as I said before, Your successes or failures are going to tell you who you are. When things are going right, when I've gotten that promotion, when the relationship is going well, now I'm a big baller and I've got all those things in my life. But when things aren't happening, or I make a mistake, or I have a financial issue, now all of a sudden it's, oh, I'm a failure. This isn't for me. I'm just not cut out for that. You're cut out for exactly what you're created to be. Your successes and failures have nothing to do with it. It's who you're created to be lived out. So second thing is identity. Continue to understand who you are. Feed yourself on the truth of who God created you to be. And in that place, the successes and the failures, they'll be learned lessons and good things to celebrate, but they won't be your identity. And then we get down to the third thing. And the third thing is simply this. Success takes work. What I know about God and his work in my life is that everything that has been great success in my life, whether it's in a business or it's in education or it's in ministry or financially, any of those things, every single one of them took work. They took more work than I wanted to do, and they took longer than I wanted to take. But in both cases, by persevering in the midst of the challenges and the hard work of getting there, I succeeded. How many times do we quit just short of the goal that God had for us, that just short of that breakthrough that he wants us to walk in, just short of the success that he had for us, but we gave up just on the outside of that door? See, know in your mind that it takes work, but that work is worth it if that goal matters to you, if that thing is really what you're created for. When I understand who I am, when I don't let failure define me, but let it give me a lesson to learn, and when I understand that there's hard work that's going to take place and I'm in on all of it as long as I get to that goal, those three things will make sure that you have the dream life that you couldn't have even imagined. And that's the life that God imagined for you, breathed into you, and is ready for you to live out. Don't give up. Keep moving forward. Keep rekindling that fire, that flame of the vision you have for your life, and you'll have it. Hey, I'm Mark. I'm glad you're here at _freedom for life _. Do me a favor, down in the comments, put one of your dreams. Small one, big one, something in between. One thing that you believe God has planned for your life. Share this video with somebody you know is greater than where they're at and who maybe is on the verge of giving up in their life. Do me a favor also, check down below. We have a link to our course, which will help you to understand your identity, who you're created to be, and the life that you're created for. Will really build you up into the person that you're created to be. I am super excited about it. I'm also excited about the book that I recently wrote, Life Mastery, Living Life by Design, Not by Default. Links down below to that book that can give you a framework for living that life mastery lifestyle. Grab those things, continue to move forward, don't give up on your life, and dominate your day.